Moving on to our second article of the day. This takes place in Japan's newspaper, but it's about Hong Kong. As you might remember, in last year, Hong Kong in June started a protest when UK handed back their freedom, their city, to China, which is kind of funny because, they invested all this money, billions of dollars, and we're just going to walk away and hand you the infrastructure, hand you our citizens and everything else. To me, it was always questionable, and it showed me that democracy, our loyalty to your country, is worthless. Anyway, so inside, Hong Kong judges battle with China over the country's autonomy. The independence of Hong Kong's judicial system is under assault from the Communist Party leadership in Beijing, senior judges in the city have said, posting the greatest threat to rule of law since Britain handed its former colony back to the Chinese government in 1997. Even as the novel virus has brought the protesters in Hong Kong to a near standstill, the struggle ranges over the future of Chinese free city. 3 of Hong Kong's most senior judges said that the independent judiciary, that the cornerstone of the city's broad freedoms, is a fight for survival. And I want to say this, that I do not think the protesters are doing enough anymore. And I will say I personally think China put this virus out in the world. This is just so that they could distract everybody and keep them occupied while in the background they do their other business, whether it's with Taiwan, attacking Taiwan, going to Vietnam waters, going to Philippine waters, doing their business in Hong Kong. This was all planned by them, and I've actually even thought about this months ago when this was daily ongoing, that China's going to do something to draw attention away from everybody else so they can do their own dirty work. And looks like they succeeded. Anyway, keeping on. Beijing's effort to hold the judicial multi-pronged, according to more than 24 interviews with the judges, leading lawyers and diplomats in Hong Kong, the state-controlled press, and the mainland has warned Hong Kong judges not to absolve protesters arrested during last year's demonstrations. Judges and lawyers say there are signs of Beijing trying to limit the authority of Hong Kong's court to rule on core constitutional matters, and people come close to the city's top judges. He says that the Communist Party officials are pushing back on Beijing's view that the rule of law ultimately must be a tool to preserve the one-party rule. The tensions flared in interview last September when Ma spoke at the International Bar Association, and after his speech, they basically said that this guy is delusional, and what he said is meaningless. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Hong Kong deserves freedom? And do you think the protesters are still doing anything to advocate their cause? And lastly, do you think China actually did something like this virus so they could do their own propaganda, their own nation's interests around the world? Please leave your comments below. I would be very happy in hearing from them. Hi. The small clip you saw was brought to you by Loyal World News. If you like what you saw, you should subscribe and look up my daily Loyal World News report for its full version. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, prefer to be on the road, I also have a podcast in every full-length video I put up.